I don't know if you're even going to see this or if this is going to be the intro to the video or not. Are we going to do this? Yeah, we're going to do it. Okay.
To enjoy the greatness that is John Cena.
Oh my God! No way! What did I say? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. He's come back. I never thought we were going to see him again. Oh my God. And I can't. Oh, mate. That was better than the first night, for a start. And the first night was incredible. How did we fall for it again? Seriously, how did we fall for it again? Like, oh my God. Take a moment to feel sorry for this man, please. It was less time as a champion than bloody Drew McIntyre 2 years ago, which we should have all seen coming, by the way. We should have all seen this coming. But, man, this year, I swear to God, like, every time I think, like, oh, that's a work, that's, it's part of a story. Every time they have got me this year. Every single time. Oh, man. It was so good. And it was so annoying at the same time. Oh. If you're not aware of what I'm talking about, I don't know where you've been, because you've been hiding under a rock. But, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to what will be my full breakdown of SummerSlam this year on Before the Free Count. Now, the reason why I say this will be, and not it is because I'm recording this on Sunday afternoon. So I don't even know what's going to happen tonight now when I record this. But, of course, I thought it would be more fun if I recorded it night after night. So, yeah, I think it's obvious what I'm talking about. So let's just jump straight into it.
Are you ready?
We are Before the Free Count. Wrestling for the fans, by the fans.
The number one podcast for the latest on Raw, SmackDown, all pay-per-views. My name's Charlie. I've been a wrestling fan since I was the age of 15. And over the last 5 years, I've gone on the most insane journey. We go through everything, analysing every moment. Welcome to Before the Free Count. So come along and let's go. So let's just jump straight into it. I'm Charlie, I'm your host as always. Welcome to Before the Free Count. This is our breakdown of SummerSlam this year, and we're starting straight away with night one, because I just want to get into it. Did you see it coming? I mean, I think I even made a reference saying that if Seth Rollins cashes in, I will be eating my own words. Well, here I am. Honestly, one of the best works I've seen in a few years. Probably one of the best I've ever seen. I know a few people said it out there, but the reason why I found it so shocking was for 3 reasons, okay? 1, I didn't expect to hear his music. 2, the moment he dropped them crutches, I thought, there's nothing, we can't rule out anything now for the rest of this year. We can't rule out anything in this year. Because everything that we said isn't going to happen has happened. Cena's going to turn heel. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. Ron Killings is going to come back after being fired. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. Seth Rollins is going to fake an injury so well that for the 3rd reason that I fell for it, it was on his wife's social media. There was pictures of him with his daughter and things of him backstage at Evolution on crutches, and I'd love to know how many people actually knew it was a work. Because I'm not saying that this was kept as secret as the Cena turning heel thing, because I know that was kept really secret in, you found out in that documentary Unreal, which I'm praying to God we're getting a second series of by the end of this year, which, you know, goes straight on from where the last one finished, and goes up to, you know, like SummerSlam, and hopefully continues with War Games and stuff like that. But man, Seth Rollins, you know, and the thing that's genius about this is that you can never, ever, ever say that, he didn't deserve the second time he won Money in the Bank. Because both times he's cashed in, he's just, you know, he's just shocked us all. First time, 10 years ago, the heist of a century. 10 years later, the ruse of the century. The biggest ruse I've ever seen. It was the fact that there was nowhere I could see online where people were going, this is a work. And I'm not saying I believe everything I read, but it was the fact that we were seeing photos online, and, you know, there was no mention whatsoever. And Saturday Night Main Event seemed like way more than 3 weeks ago. I don't know if it was just me, but it was just, I swear to God, man, that was just so well pulled off. And, you know, commiserations to CM Punk. And some people have gone, you could tell something was wrong when he walked out. No, you couldn't. Don't lie. You couldn't. There is no way the majority of people saw this coming. There was no way in hell. But just yet again, just genius storytelling. Absolutely genius storytelling here. And this isn't even without going into the match itself, which was probably one, the match of the night, and two, I think it honestly was one of Gunther's best matches I've ever seen. It certainly was up there with old school CM Punk days, you know, the determination and the carrying on, you know, all that stuff. It was just brilliant. Every single time I thought that match was going to end, it just kept on going. The way the strength them two had, the way they carried that match was just unbelievable. You should go back and watch it just for the match, let alone this genius cash-in ruse that we've had over the last 24 hours. But I've got to admit it, CM Punk versus Gunther, it's got to be a 5-star. It has to be. I don't see how you can't put that as a 5-star match. It was perfect in every way. From the moment it kicked off, they just went for it. There was no moments where I thought, they're having a bit of a break here. Not even for a second. Okay, the only problem I had with it, the only tiniest problem, was I thought letting them use blood was brilliant. The way that they went about him getting the injury for blood was just too obvious. Which I know is like one of those things that is real nitpicky, because it's like, you know, how do you do it these days without people seeing? And, you know, it was so obvious with the way he landed that is not how he got injured. A lot of people said, like, oh, there was something that happened to his nose. How? His arm fell down and he rolled off the table. There was no way he took an injury that badly that made him bleed. But, you know, blading's been going on for years. You know, it's always been going on. And it's the way they've always done it. I just thought that the move that they went for him to then go into position to make it look like he'd bled from that particular move was not the best. And maybe it was just with the way he felt. It was just one of those in-the-moment things. Apart from that, one of the best matches I've seen this year. And I'm being serious. I really would put it in the top 5 best matches I've seen this year. Now, I don't know whereabouts I'd put that, because there's been some absolute bangers this year, I have to say. But, you know, every year I say this, there's always going to be something that happens at SummerSlam that we don't see coming, that we, you know, how did we not? And, you know, this happened and that happened. This year, I genuinely thought it was going to be something like Liv Morgan came back. And it still could. It still could happen tonight. For all I know, I've just eaten my own words again. But, no. The way they've gone about this was just genius. And I think that's what... I think we now understand why they're calling it the reality era. Because, everything we see could be a work. Everything could be part of a story now. There's not one thing that I'm going to take seriously going forward now. Because I've never seen them use social media in this way apart from R-Truth. And because that was the one-off, I just thought, fair play. And even that was apparently, true up to about 48 hours before Money in the Bank. So, I don't know what else to say about it. It's just genius. Absolutely genius. Is Liv Morgan really filming something? I don't know. Is Becky going to retain tonight? Is it obvious? Is Cena just pulling another one and he is actually, still heel? I don't know. I don't know anymore. Is Travis Scott going to come out? I don't know anymore. I just don't know, guys. But no, it was just the most shocking thing. At the time when I was watching it, it was just and I actually regret that I didn't film my reaction last night, which is exactly what I will be doing for night 2, believe me. Because this has been a year where every single time where you thought you knew what was going to happen, you kind of understood the game plan. My God, were we wrong. And it goes back to that saying, he's a visionary, he's a revolutionary, he's Steph freaking Rollins. But the fact they pulled it off in such a good way, I mean, like, when his music hit, I thought, no way in hell. And when he came out on the crutches, I thought, okay, it's just a reminder. It was a pure shock thing. And then it was just the moment them crutches just went and they just dropped to the floor. The air in that stadium was just taken out. I mean, I've seen a lot of shock turns and twists and that, but it was just the way he pulled it off so well. It was just so well planned out and so well hidden. I mean, because there was things that we saw about, and this is the thing, this is why it was so shocking. There was like, we heard that he did go for a surgery. Maybe it was a minor one. So did he really go for one? Was it just a minor thing? I don't know, man. I really don't. I mean, every single person that I can't think of anyone right now, but every single person that we ever see go down with an injury or, lost a title or has been let go, all of them types of things, they could cover it from hell and back. I'm never falling for anything again. Ever again. Because it's just made me want to up my game in guessing these things. Because I've just never seen them go to the lengths that they've gone in the last year with keeping the story alive. And I think and it makes so much sense when you go back and you watch, Unreal, the documentary that came out this week and stuff like that. They're trying to bring back kayfabe and they're doing it in such a clever way that it's got me second guessing myself. So, if that's the plan, and that's the thing that excites me, if that's what we're getting, if this is what we're going to get over the next couple of years, then I'm all for it. Just strap me in and take me for the ride of whatever you're going to throw my way. Because it was just genius. I can't get over it, man. I was sitting on my sofa a minute ago and I thought, do I film something, do I not? But the whole day I've been going, I'm just like, how did we not know? How did we not know? And there's someone that was commenting on the TikTok that I put out for the predictions the other day, and of course, someone's put on there that Cena's still face. Yeah, you could be right, mate. You could be right, because I don't have a clue. I really don't now. But after 5 minutes of being champion, you know, Seth Rollins is world heavyweight champion again, and in a move that I don't know who saw coming, but I can throw my hands up and just say, yep, you got me good on that one. Absolutely. Moving on, and I'm going to try and cover the others as well as I can. So let's move on to the other big match of the night, which was, and this was the other thing that surprised me, was the order that the matches were. And it makes sense now, you know, when you look back, it makes sense. And like, even if Punk had just won and that was it, you know, it would have been a main event worthy moment. But, you know, the fact that they opened with Jay and Roman was the thing that shocked me. Not for any other reason, but the fact that Roman was opening a show. He hasn't done that since the debut of Netflix, and the time before that was when it was in Saudi. So, you know, maybe something's going down. You know, I've said this before, that I don't think we've got a lot of major moments with Roman left. I think there's a couple on there. We know that at some point we're going to get that Roman versus Rock match, which is, you know, I've predicted that's how I could be wrong on that. You know, how I think we're going to get there is what I said on the podcast that came out on Friday. You know, that I don't know, man. But anyway, so Roman versus Jay kicked off the show. It was spectacular. Oh, it was so good. So good. They got the amount of time that they deserved. I thought it was paced out perfectly. It was really nice to see the genuine family love between Jay and Roman come across on the screen, and it wasn't all like, you know, I'm the tribal chief and all that, you know. It was really nice to see them moments, and it was kind of nice to see that warmer side of Roman that we haven't seen for a very long time, let's be honest. Which, you know, it could be part of the character, and I think it will be going forward, because, and I think that's the other reason why he might have opened the show, is because if you look at it, even though everything he's done and all the accolades that he's had in the last 5 years have been incredible, there's really nothing that's like, you know, and I'm not saying this in a negative way at all, by the way. I think he's one of the greatest of all times. I think he is probably, you know, the greatest to ever do a title reign ever. You know, in terms of pulling off a storyline, you know, you're not going to get as big as that one that we had with the Bloodline that went over like 4 years, I think it was in the end. But I think because all of that has died down, and as I was saying the other day, that we're at the point where you could have the other members of the Bloodline family, and you've got that side, and you've got Jay here, and you've got Jimmy doing his thing, and you've got Jacob here, and all of that. It's come to the point where they don't need Roman. And I think, as I said last Friday, that because we're at that stage where, not in a negative way, he's not needed anymore, it's like, okay, where do we go with him now? Because it's not the fact that they don't want to do stuff with him. I think he's so busy putting things in place for when this does all come to an end, that trying to make something relevant and good enough, and that is the other thing, is if you're going to do something with Roman, and it's going to be, you know, I'm not going to lie, I think that the next major storyline that we see with Roman is going to be the last. And I'm just being honest. And I think they want to get it so right that they want to take a bit of time of making sure that what they're doing is right. And personally, I think the other half is, and I'm not having a go at the guy. It's the way these things work. It's contractual obligation at the end of the day. You know, he came back at Royal Rumble, and he was from the Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, went away, came back for SummerSlam. You know, they're the big five. Is that right? Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, SummerSlam. Okay, we didn't have Money in the Bank in there. But, you know, if he's not going to do Money in the Bank, maybe he appears at Survivor Series. Or Clash in Paris, but I don't see him doing Clash in Paris. And I don't see... I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a way that we're going to fit him into the overall Survivor Series story going forward. Which, by the way, I want to apologise for, because I know I said the other day that the next thing that we've got coming is Survivor Series. I completely forgot about Clash in Paris at the end of this month. So I do apologise for that. But yeah, it was a brilliant match. Going back to the match itself, Jay was on fire yet again. Bronson Reed, oh my god. I don't ever want to be near a ring with that man, let alone in a ring with him. The two of them together, him and Bron Breakker, are just... they're phenomenal. They are absolutely phenomenal. Surprising that they lost, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe it's where, again, it goes back to the being gullible again, and I didn't see the thing with Seth coming, is that, like, you know, maybe because they lost, we knew something else was going to happen later in the night. But I kind of thought, like, if anything, it was going to maybe carry over to tonight. I mean, well, tonight is the night I'm watching it. Tomorrow, or yesterday for you when you watched it. I mean, this is so confusing. It's like the fourth wall, this is. I thought something like that might happen, but it was brilliant. By the way, every time Bron does the running train thing around the ring is just so good. It makes me really wish we had Braun Strowman back, but, you know, it works for him so well. And, you know, oh, by the way, the spear that Roman took from Braun, pushing Jay out of the way, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But no, Jay and Roman retain. What they retain, I don't know. But we'll see where this goes going forward. But no, I thought the match was fantastic. Brilliant way to open the show. And again, where do we go from here? Because Seth Rollins is now a champion, and his two henchmen have just lost a match, and maybe that's something he's going to bring up, you know, on Raw, that, you know, I had to come back to try and defend your asses after the amount of takedowns you've had. You know, could be. Anyway, moving on to the next match that I'm going to go over pretty quickly on this one, because it was, as I expected, to be one of the squash matches of the night. It was still a good match. I don't think that it was given the time it... I mean, you look at what went down on night one. They could have been given more time, but at the same... let's put it this way. There was another match that happened later in the night that... yeah, it just didn't pull it off for me, and we'll get to that one in a bit. But if we're going in order, we'll go to the next one, which was... no, we're not going in order. We're going to skip one and come back to it, okay? Is, of course, Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn. Very, very interesting moment in this match where Scarlett actually handed the metal pipe to Sami. And, you know, I not for a second did I thought that he was going to use it, but I thought it was very interesting that she... I mean, maybe it's because she was trying to get him to turn, so, you know, they could say not everyone's good on the inside, but I don't know, I thought that was very, very interesting. Apart from that, very good match. Both went very, very well. Expected a bit more time on this, gonna be honest. It was a real quick match. I think it was at the maximum 15 minutes. And I think that includes walkout times. if I'm going to be honest. Really good match, but very, very short. And it was, to me, it was just rushed too much. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, at the end of the match, Sammy went, "It's over." And I thought, well, really? Is it? Because, I felt like this was just getting started. And if this was, the end of it, and we're moving on to something else, it made me feel like, well, could we not have given them more time, or like more time to hype this match up? But maybe it's just me. Maybe. But anyway, Sammy wins, and, we carry on with this Scarlett carrying thing for a while. Are they going to go after someone else? Are we going to get another thing? I think we should get another match from this, and this time they should get a bit longer in the match. There was rumours that there was a chance that Kevin Owens was going to come out and was actually going to betray Sammy and join Karrion's side. Now that would have been interesting, but again, it was so early in this story that I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, it was a good match, just too short. And I think we need more time to develop it and more time in the ring. I mean, 10, 15 minutes, that's not a match. Anyway, that's a warm-up for Gunther, that is, 15 minutes. These days it bloody is. Anyway, moving on from there, we're going to go on to... we'll get this one out of the way now. The match that... there was 2 moments in it that were absolutely unbelievable. Apart from that, I thought it was just rubbish. And that was, of course, Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. I really wanted this to go well. I really, really wanted to like this. But it was just... it was just so overplayed, man. It was just like... so, here's the whole match for those that didn't see it, okay? Logan throws a punch at Jelly before the match actually officially starts. The bell goes. Randy wants to start the match. Jelly says, "No, I want to stay here," because he's, throwing a punch at me. I want to get one back on him straight away. Tries to calm him down. He doesn't get there. Jelly stays in the ring. Jelly goes down like a plate of jelly. We're going back and forth between Drew and Logan for about 3 minutes. Gets thrown out the ring. Drew gets him on the table. Logan gets to... and this was one of the best moments. One of my favourite moments of the night. Don't get me wrong, this was absolutely brilliant, because Logan is so good at these epic moments like these. I have to give the man something, and it is, he pulls off them moves that are like, you crazy man. And this was one of them again. And he takes 2 bottles of brine, smashes them, throws them over him, jumps, and does a brilliant frog splash onto the table with Jelly Roll, smashes the entire table. And Jelly Roll, has about 6, 7 medics around him, and it then goes to Randy in the ring, and Randy's just getting, destroyed. It's going back and forth between them. This whole time, Jelly Roll's just taking forever, if this was real, for him to get out the way. And I thought, well, he's clearly going to come back, because it's taken him nearly 5 freaking minutes for him to get from one side of the ring to the other, where the walkway is. I mean, Jesus Christ, it was just so bad. And then, of course, miraculously, he recovers just before he starts walking up the walkway, gets back in the ring, and he starts throwing a few punches, makes a few moves, choke slams Logan. I thought the choke slam was good. I'll give him that. It was a good choke slam. And, there was a few other moves that were great. There was a great Claymore stop. And then, of course, Tags gets completely knocked out again. Randy gets tagged in. Drew comes in. I think it was Drew that came in. Knocks Randy out. 1, 2, 3 count. End. Logan and Drew win. That was the whole match. So the majority of the match we were just waiting for Jelly Roll to get back in the ring. And that's where my problem lied, is that it would have worked if they would have won. But they lost, and I just thought, do one or the other. I mean, come on. And it was slow-paced because of it. Don't get me wrong, there were some moments that were brilliant. As I said, the choke slam that he got on Logan I thought was very impressive, and I thought Logan's jump was one of the best things of the whole first night. That was just brilliant. Absolutely unbelievable. How he gets that height, I have no idea. But that was, that was incredible. But apart from that, it just felt a bit, we're doing this because there's a celeb in the match. Which I haven't got a problem with, if it makes sense. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm really torn on this, because some people absolutely hate it when there's celebrity endorsements, and others think it's brilliant. I'm in the middle. If it's gonna do good for both brands, fantastic. I don't think that did good for either bloody brands last night. It made Jelly Roll look incredibly weak, and it made the whole match for the professionals look stupid. Okay? Whereas when we've had times where people like Bad Bunny's come in, it's been brilliant. They've actually gone to work on it, and it's made sense, and it's worked. Logan Paul, when he first started, I was completely against it, but now he's he's good. We hate him, but we have to admit, he's bloody good in the ring. Let's just be honest here. He is bloody good in the ring. Everything else, I hate him, by the way. But yeah, the same thing with Travis Scott. He came along, did a few things, and then that was it. Apparently, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was true, because it would have been in the match that would have been last night for you, tonight for me with John Cena. Maybe he does come out, but there's been things going around about him being crap in the ring that he's pulled out of a match, and there was things that were said on Friday Night SmackDown that Cody said that the only it was something like the only rapper that's going to be throwing you down is I can't remember what it was. It was something along them lines. Okay, and he was clearly making a dig at Travis Scott. Which, fair play. But yes. So, didn't love it, but it had some moments. But yeah, it wasn't perfect in any way, shape or form. Now we get to go on to what match was next? Oh, of course. We then had one of my favourite matches of the night. We have a top three. The first one was, of course, Gunther versus CM Punk, because I thought the match was brilliant, and I thought that the twist was just genius, as we said at the beginning. I'm going to put first place to Jay and Roman, because it was a great match. It opened so well. But my second slot for best match of the night, they did it. Charlotte and Alexa Bliss are the new women's tag team champions. I am so happy. The match was fantastic. Even from the moment that they walked out, there was them nudges of, don't get out my way, I'll get out my way, this is my spotlight, no, it's yours, we work together, and all that. It just from the beginning to the end, it was a fantastic match. Brilliant work from Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez as well. They did amazing in this match. Roxanne, I've said this for a while, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez have both just had a phenomenal reign as tag team champions. And they've been fantastic at that, so fair play to them. But I'm so happy. I'm so happy that we're going to get to see this. And I think we're going to see this run for a while. As I said, Charlotte and Alexa, they just work so well together. And by the way, if you haven't, do yourself a favour and look at the merch that they've brought out for this, because it's genius. It's just two white shirts with Diamantes on it, and it says "We are not friends." or We're Not Friends, and it's just so good. And I don't know if you saw, but the press conference afterwards, Paul Heyman had quite a few words to say. I'm not going to get into that because I'm going to be here too long. But no, even at the press conference, it was so good, and it was brilliant. The whole match, it showed why women are so on top at the moment, by the way, within the wrestling in general. Because I know I say this all the time, we don't talk about AEW, but don't think I don't watch it. Mariah May and all of them people right now. I mean, I think one quick thing on that. Wrestling Illustrated brought out their top 100 wrestlers in this month's issue. Mariah May got in the top 5, and I cannot question it at all, because she has been phenomenal recently. She's probably one of my favourite female wrestlers at the moment. Gotta be honest. Will Ospreay got number 1, Cody got number 2. And you know what? I can't even argue with that. Will's been fantastic as well. But anyway, I'm going on to something else here. But what I'm trying to say is the women in the wrestling world have just been incredible at the moment. And this has just been another, we saw it at Evolution. It was a perfect pay-per-view. And we're seeing it again tonight. Just with them two, was when you get it right, you can just nail it. And I think from the moment someone suggested, why don't we put these two in a pair, from the second that Mania was over and they didn't really know where to go with Charlotte, whoever flicked that switch, fair play to you. You should be getting all the credit, because this has been something that when I look at it, I feel like, how the hell has this never happened yet? They're both so far into their career. Not to say that either of them are near the end of their career. I think Charlotte maybe more than Alexa, but still, we've got a good 5 years probably off both of them yet to come, and maybe more. But when you look at what they've done, the coverage they've had, across NXT when they both started, and Charlotte was in the Four Horsewomen, and when Alexa started, and then you look at what Charlotte's done on her own, the stuff Alexa did when she first became champion, and then she went off and did the stuff with Bray Wyatt, which we all know just became a phenomenal storyline. One of my favourites in the last decade, rest in peace Bray Wyatt. And all of them things, I look at it and I go, how have we not had this happen? Because it's just so clever. It's the princess and the emo, it's just genius. And by the way, if their name is going to be Not Real Friends, why is it not the Twisted the Twisted Queens? Because is it just me, or is that just such a good name for them, the Twisted Queens? Please. Is it just me? I just thought that was genius when I came up with that a few weeks ago. But nevertheless, I'm so happy they won. So happy they won. You know what? I know we're going to go, you guys are going to go straight into night 2, at the end of this in a minute. But, you know what? Whilst I'm here, I'm going to look back at, what I've got written down for night 2. Because I know I missed a match as well. I actually missed the tag team match as well, which I really apologise for. But let's see. Let's see what I've got down for night 2. Because I know I made my predictions and all of that rubbish. But after last night, or after 2 nights ago for you guys, this could be something incredible. Because it definitely was last night, or 2 nights ago. Stop trying to break the fourth wall. Stop trying to break the fourth wall. Right, here we go. Night 2. Okay, so we've got Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles. I'm going to change my mind on this. I'm going to go with Dominic now. I don't know why, but I just feel that, it would make more sense, actually. When I thought about it for a while and I looked at it and I was like, even though they've been building up this match, I think it makes more sense if Dominic retains. For the exact reason I said, he hasn't really had a match since he won the thing. So, if he lost it that quickly, And maybe that's what happened. Maybe Liv comes back and helps him win it, or she comes back and helps him lose it. So no, I'm going to go with Dominic Mysterio with that one. Moving on to Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu. I've got to go with Jacob still. I just still feel that it makes sense. It's got to be Jacob. It's a steel cage match. It's going to be incredible. Okay, so I'm happy with that one. Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria. Now, I've had quite a few people that I've spoken to in the last 24, 48 hours since, the first podcast, Friday's podcast came out. And a lot of people have gone against me and actually said that Becky's going to win. But to me, don't get me wrong, it makes sense because then you could carry on this heel side of her for a while. But I just feel that we're at the point where we're on match 3 or maybe 4. And Becky is at that point in her career now where she's helping get over other people. And I just feel that it would make more sense for it to go to Lyra. So I'm going to stick with her. But I wouldn't be surprised if I'm sat here eating my words in literally 5 minutes for you guys. So, we'll go with that. And then we've got Naomi versus Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. And I think I forgot to put Io Sky in the match the first time round, so I do apologise for that. So, oh my god, I've just realised I missed one of the matches from last night. I just completely missed one of the matches. Right, I will get back to it. Let me finish my predictions. Okay, so we have Naomi versus Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. Naomi's got to retain. That there's no way I'm moving on that one. Absolutely no way in hell. Jade Cargill could come out now and go for her to make sure that she loses as well. Oh man, I don't know. I really don't. Honestly, I'm at the stage where I could say, you know what, fuck it. Brock Lesnar's gonna come back tonight. Imagine if he did though. Oh, but this is the thing. Anything, just literally anything. I'm now starting to believe could happen. There's points of me where even in my head I'm like, yeah, sod it. Triple H is gonna just take off all the suit and just go, yeah, I'm unretired. I don't know. The Dudleys are coming back for TNA against the Hardys. There's so many things that have happened this year that were just not on my bingo card. That okay. Sorry to take a bit of time out in the vlog for you, but I wanted to talk about our sponsor, the amazing WrestleCrate, as you may have heard here. What is a WrestleCrate? Well, let me tell you. WrestleCrate is a monthly subscription box for people like you, that love wrestling. What do you get in this box, you're probably wondering? Well, let me show you. Autographs from people like Daniel Bryan, Lita, Godfather, DDP, Kane, Sting, the Hardy Boys. Well, what else do you get? Well, maybe you get a cool poster like this one. Cool key rings. Even pretty cool Lucha Libre puzzles like this. Cool pins like these. And you also get awesome t-shirt just like all of these. It's the best part, because you come through us before the free count, you can get yourself a free WrestleCrate with your first order just by going to www.wrestlecrate.co.uk and using the code BTTC, and you get a free box with your first order. How awesome does that sound? So what are you doing sticking around here? Go and get yourself one. So yeah, and then going to that last match again, Cody versus Cena. I've still got it down that Cody's turning heel, but The Rock's coming out as well. I feel that what I said on Friday, if you haven't seen it, go and listen to it, but I think what I said on Friday, when you look at the hype that I've already given for that match, I just feel it would make sense for it to go down the road that I said. If it will lead to exactly what I said in a year at WrestleMania time, I don't know. But, finally, I've just realised I missed one of the matches from last night, so I do apologise. Please do not think I did it deliberately. I just forgot. And I'm really sorry. And of course, that was Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. That was a great match as well. That was brilliant. The women killed it last night. brilliant to see Jade Cargill really go for it again in the ring. Because it's very rare that we get these matches from her. I don't know why it is, but you know. But she was phenomenal yet again. I was quite shocked that Tiffany retained. I've got to admit, I was quite shocked that she did retain. It makes sense. I mean, when I watched the after show, and they had that little interview with her, and she was saying about, like, you know, she's the only one that's kept a title this year. She's held it for 200 days. It's only now when I look at it, I'm like, geez, she's really on a run at the moment. Really on a run. But at the same time, that's kind of why I thought she was going to lose it, is because it's been going for quite a while. You know, she's had enough time. Not that she doesn't deserve to carry it, if you know what I mean. But, you know, she'd had enough time with it where it would make sense if she lost. And that's the reason why I said I think that it's going to be title versus title. Maybe Clash in Paris or Survivor Series. But, you know, I was wrong. The match was brilliant, though. She was phenomenal, yet again. I mean, you look at the stats for Tiffany Stratton alone, and it is actually quite incredible to look at. She only started training 4 years ago. She became professional 2 years ago. She joined WWE a year and a half ago, and she's been champion for 200 days, and she won Money in the Bank. Maybe she's been with WWE for 2.5 years then, maybe 3. But the fact that she's gone from that to straight into NXT to that, I mean, she clearly must be related to, maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe she is related to someone in the industry, because I've never known someone, if she's done that and it's all been from, you know, a clean slate, never ever touched the thing, to jump in straight in, to do that in 4 years, that is just unbelievable. She must have been doing something else, like athletically, before. Or she's related to someone that's trained her in such a way that she was at the stage that a lot of people take before you get, you know, that opportunity to go for a tryout. I need to look that up, man. I really do, because now I say it out loud and, you know, yeah, that's insane. 4 years, and she's been with them for, it's got to be nearly 3 years. It's got to be, because she won Money in the Bank last year. And there's no, she was with, I'm sure she was with NXT for a while as well. So she's like, that's mental. She's got to be related to someone, or must have come in from an athletic background. She must have been. It's the same with Bianca Belair. She went from track and field to WWE and did, like, I think it was less than 18 months in NXT before she, you know, jumped to the big brand, you know, but still phenomenal. And again, makes sense. She's carrying the championship. She's been it for nearly 200 days now, and she's proven her way. Jade Cargill, where do we go next with you? I think we've got to be setting up a match between her and Naomi at some point, though, and that's the reason why I'm still under the impression that Naomi is going to retain tonight. My God, imagine if I got that wrong as well. Wouldn't surprise me at this stage. Guys, we're 45 minutes in, and we haven't even got to night 2. So you know what? Let's go and watch it, because I can't wait to see what happens. So let's jump to night 2. I've just had an idea pop in my head, and there's no way it's going to happen. But if it does, is Brock going to come back? I swear to God, if Brock Lesnar's music hits,
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this while you can. We have 4 months left to enjoy the greatness that is John Cena.
oh my God! Oh my God, it's Brock Lesnar. It's Brock Lesnar. No way. What did I say? What did I say, of all the things that could happen, is he's going to return? And I said, there's no way that was going to happen. And it was only as long... I can't believe it. I can't believe it. He's come back. I never thought we were going to see him again. It's been nearly 3 years. I never thought we were going to see him again. I knew something was going to happen. I even said earlier in the video, for all I know, Brock Lesnar's going to come back now. Oh, mate, this is insane. Brock Lesnar's returned. They've done it. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Every time we think we've got it. Every single time. Look at the size of him! I can't believe he's come back. I cannot believe it. Is he just going to go straight? He's going straight in for him. With an AA. Brock Lesnar. F5. We haven't seen an F5 in years. Oh my God.
Let's be honest, Brock Lesnar was never coming down here to commiserate with anyone. A message has been sent. And everything we thought we knew about WWE just...
Right. Best SummerSlam ever. 2 incredible shocks both nights. Right, this is why it was 2 nights. Oh, mate. And that's it. Oh my God, that was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. The match was incredible. I just knew something was going to happen. I mean, every time we think it's going to be someone like... I mean, that's the thing now. When The Rock does come back, we're not going to expect it, and that's going to be a shock. Because every time they've got us now. I said earlier that, for all we know, Brock Lesnar's going to come back tonight. And I went, no, that's not going to... Well, to be fair, anything is possible now. Point in case. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Brock Lesnar's back. After nearly... What are we in, 2025? When did he leave? It's got to have been around about mid-2022. We've not seen him since then. 3 years? Oh my God. And I can't. Oh, mate. That was better than the first night, for a start. And the first night was incredible. But, oh my God, every single time you think you got it, they just hit you again with another twist. Oh, right, let's go to my full, breakdown here. Okay, so we're jumping forward quite a bit now for you guys. It's now the afternoon on the Monday morning, and this is potentially about to become the longest episode of this podcast ever at this stage. Because I still got to go over the rest of the night too. Because you've just seen my reaction to what happened, or heard my reaction. Let's just kick off where we started with that one. Oh man, this weekend has been incredible. It's just been absolutely incredible. The whole entire thing. This weekend has changed the industry. Because we've had a weekend where we've literally witnessed anything that could happen has happened and will happen. I've just realised the first clip in the whole entire video that I'm not wearing my glasses, and it's the first time, you know what, I'm past the point of wanting to get up and go and get them from over there now. So you know what, we're going to film like this and carry on, and I'll probably look a bit crap, but still. So I've got to find, where are we? Okay, we kicked off the night with, where did we kick off the night? Oh my god. We opened the show with Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. It was a perfect match to open the show. Everything hit from the beginning to the end. Yet again, I've said it before, the girls are just dominating at the moment. I had a very strong feeling going into this Naomi was going to win. It was spectacular in so many ways. I'm out of breath and I've only just started filming again. So, yeah, I mean, Io Sky, I've got to give so many props to because she is just phenomenal. It's been brilliant to watch this over the time of, you know, where we were at WrestleMania to Money in the Bank to where we are now. It's been phenomenal, and I don't think that this will be the end of it. I think that we're going to change shift because Jade didn't win, and we're going to be in that situation. And as I said earlier, when we were talking about Saturday night's events, that I still think that we are leading towards a Jade and Naomi match at some point. I think it's going to be when Bianca gets back in the story, because it could make sense as a triple threat. It could also make sense as a fatal four-way with one of Io or Rhea coming into this. But at the same time, it's just such a clever dynamic that they've got with the women's division at the moment. It's been phenomenal. The women have killed it this whole weekend. The whole weekend, they've just killed it. Every single match that I've seen has been phenomenal. Moving on to the second match of the night, which was my second favourite match of the whole night. That tag team match. Oh my god. So it was 25 years since the first TLC match. And we knew that they said early on, I kind of wish I recorded my reaction to that bit, was because we know that they're working with lots of different companies now, WWE. And I always forget that they work with TNA, and which I know is really stupid because we've seen Joe Henry involved so many times this year. But of course, they're coming up to one of their big pay-per-views too. And they announced two of the legendary tag teams from the first TLC were there. Now, I don't know why, but I was like, well, it still could be Edge and Christian. Of course, it wasn't going to be there with AEW. But I was still shocked. We saw the Hardys, as well as the Dudley Boys, in the crowd, which was amazing to have that opportunity, because I don't think we've seen... Well, we haven't seen both Hardys on screen for probably 6-7 years. I mean, I know they were just in the audience, but, you know, the fact that they were being, you know, shown, talked about in that way, again, means that there's a potential that, you know, I've said it for quite a few years now, I still don't understand how they are not in the Hall of Fame yet. And I know that there was conversations when they left about they were offered it originally before they went off and did multiple of other things. including what they're doing now. But the fact still remains that they are not. I know I've said this for quite a few people, that like there's people that you see that are going to come to the end of their career in the big way soon, and then you have other people that you always know are just going to keep on going. The Hardys have kind of been that for the last 15 years. It's like they could have retired happily, but they wanted to keep on going, and fair play, they have. It's not always been at the same standard that we thought. Well, let's be honest, it has dropped off a bit, but nevertheless, everything they've done is brilliant. I think that now we're starting to see them mentioned, and we've actually seen them on screen. I think that this year could be potentially the year that we see them put into the Hall of Fame, because they've said themselves on multiple occasions that this is their last round, and that is it. And I don't think they've both been on the same agreement of that for quite a while. So it'd be really cool if, you know, it will be sad in a way because they're legends, but it will be really cool if we did get, you know, where we are getting that final match. Are we leading to that being their final match? We know this is definitely this is definitely the Dudleys' last match, because they are coming back to do it one more time, purely because people have asked for so long, and Devon's not wanted to do it because of health reasons and stuff like that. Bubba has for quite a while, but you know, he wasn't ever going to put Devon in a situation where he didn't feel he wanted to do it. And I think now that there's a mutual agreement that the Hardys are in the same position, okay, let's go out, let's do it one more time. You know, are we going to see... It would be amazing if AEW would give them permission and let Edge and Christian go and do this final match, and us have that final original TLC with them three. I don't think it's going to happen though. But going back to the match that they were watching, one of the best TLCs we've seen in years. And if people go like, oh, it went on too long, it was too short and stuff like that. Did you see the moves? Did you see how many times I had to change the camera angles? I know quite often I say that the matches from start to finish did not stop. I think there was more camera changes in shots per minute in this match than I've ever seen in any TLC match. Because at least in the previous ones, it was, I'm not saying it weren't planned out, you know, but like they kind of took their time and made sure that it was ridiculous. Like you had some moves in that match which were just unbelievable. I mean, they tried to recreate Jeff Hardy holding onto the belts and Christian going to jump on him. They've not tried that in years, and they tried to redo that. The Street Profits with the two tables that they set up. Candice LeRae. Jesus Christ, that was... and the fact that all the other ladders split, by the way, and then that one didn't. Oh, man. And the first few minutes of that match, it was just like, oh, here's someone else fall. Here's a table. Oh, they're going through a ladder. Oh, they're going through that. Oh, they've broken a table. Oh, they've broken one of the announcer chairs. Honestly, it was insane. It was so insane. Every single person in that match, hats off. And the best part is that the Wyatts retained, which is what I really wanted to happen. Because it keeps the Wyatts, 1, relevant, 2, with the championships, and 3, we're still in that, you know, I said it earlier in the year when this all started kicking off after Mania, that I think that the tag team division this year has been, the male tag team division that is, has been the strongest it has looked in absolute years. And we've had 3 TLC matches, and all of them have kicked ass. Are we in like the next generation of these kind of matches? Are we going to get to the point where they may even consider just bringing back that pay-per-view? And I really wish they would, because I think that, you know, the tag team division's there now. You know, I think we could do another TLC pay-per-view. It really could be time for them to start considering maybe doing that, you know, on the build-up to Mania, or like, you know, between after Mania and towards Money in the Bank, or, you know, towards SummerSlam next year. If they can keep this momentum going, I really think that this could be time that we bring back the TLC pay-per-view. And to some people, it's a bit annoying that you've got a pay-per-view just for that and it's one type of match. But you've got to remember, this all started from SummerSlams and WrestleManias. And, you know, if you've never had the privilege of going to watch them first original 3 TLC matches, what the hell are you doing? And how have you never seen them if you're a wrestling fan, by the way? I think they're up there with the most quintessential matches you need to watch. If you say, like, all right, I want to get into wrestling and I want to get into this and I want to know the history in the background, there's a few matches on my list that I always put up there. I'm not going to go through them now because I'm gonna ramble on all night. But believe me, them 3 matches, there's a reason why that then became a pay-per-view and became phenomenal. And them 3 tag teams are legendary in their own right, and it is because of them 3 matches. Okay, so go and watch. Even if you're not a wrestling fan and you say, oh, wrestling's fake, actually, go and watch them matches, because there's things that they did in them matches that they will never let them do again now. I'll say that they did a decent amount of them last night. It was just phenomenal. The whole thing was just phenomenal. And then we're going to move on to the next match, which was the cage match between... No, it wasn't the cage match, was it? Of course, we also had Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. That was phenomenal. I don't know if I remember if I changed my mind on that one. I know I did about the Dominic one, thank God. But no, I'm surprised that they're going to run it again. But it makes sense at the same time, because Becky is on such a good position at the moment that it doesn't actually... I don't think it genuinely matters anymore how long she holds on to the belt, as long as eventually it does go back to Lyra. But I knew, by the way, that this was going to not just be a Becky and Lyra match. I called this. Of course, Bayley got involved. It was, I kind of wish she could have stole the match, because then it would have made even more sense on a different angle for them to keep this running. Because it really would have gone from all 3 of them at that point. And then, you get something like Clash, and it's like the final one. Which, But I think that we're going to get to the point where I think that this may lead to something towards War Games. Where, they're going to have 2 of them are going to have to work against the other one in whichever group they find themselves within. But again, I think this is all going to relate to this is leading the whole women's division at the moment. It's leading to something where we're going to have and I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, okay? But in my opinion, if we're leading towards War Games after Clash in Paris, it's got to be something along the lines that we've got Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez, Becky Lynch, maybe even Naomi, versus Jade Cargill, Lyra Valkyria, Bayley, Charlotte, and Alexa. Something like that. Get Io in there, for God's sake. Make it make sense that Io's in there as well, because Io just kills in their matches every year. You can't leave Io out of a War Games match, man. You can't do that. Just realised what I said. That's blasphemy. After the last 3 years we've had with her in them matches. Yeah, get Lyra, get Io Sky in there as well. I just think that that's the kind of route that I think we're going to go down. But again, this weekend we've been proven time and time again that we are just going to get thrown spanners left, right, and centre, and we don't know what's going to go down. So yeah, I can't believe I nearly forgot about that one. So yeah, I love that match, by the way. That was absolutely fantastic. I think that was... Oh, this is really hard now, because I don't think I could just have a top 3 of last night. Because I think that Cody and John pulled off an all-time great. Who do I give it to? Because I love the triple threat as well. I think just it... Oh, man, I wanted to say that I can't genuinely decide between... I'm going to make it a top 4 for last night, because I just cannot decide between the Rhea, Io Sky and Naomi match against the Becky and Lyra match. I can't, you know... this is, again, I've said it before, the women are on fire at the moment, man. They are just absolutely on fire. Every match this weekend. I mean, let me just remind myself of some of the others. I know we had the, I know we had the Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. As I said, we had the Naomi versus Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. We had Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria. And we had Jay Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton. Again, every single match. Was there another women's match apart from that one? Let me just double check. No, there wasn't. Every single one of their matches was phenomenal. I'm just going through the... I might as well just go through the rest of them now, the ones that stood out to me for the whole weekend. Gunther versus Punk with the cash-in. Again, absolute genius, fantastic. Both... This is another thing, okay? I think for the first time in a while that it's hard to pick which match was the better headliner over the last 2 nights. Because even if you take away the shocks of both main events, both of the individual matches, the Gunther versus CM Punk and Cody versus Cena, were unbelievable matches. Throw in the twist of Seth wasn't injured and he cashes in. Throw in the twist that Brock Lesnar has come back. I can't pick between the two of them. I can't. I honestly, I think this has been, and I'm really scared to say it, I actually think that this weekend was better than Mania. Genuinely. I'm shocked that I'm saying that, but I really think that the quality of matches, and the storylines, the shocks, the twists, the turns, everything that we've had, the only thing that didn't happen that I thought would was Liv was going to come back. That is the only other thing that I think I said that could potentially happen that didn't happen. Everything else did. And of course, you know, so just going back to it, so other matches that stood out on the rest of the card for me, of course we had Jay and Roman versus Bronson and Bron Breakker. Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker. I thought that as I said a minute ago, the tag team match was phenomenal. The 2 women's matches last night were phenomenal, including the 2 matches from the night before. The John Cena versus Cody, as I've said already, was phenomenal. I mean, there wasn't really any bad matches. I didn't really enjoy the Jelly Roll Randy Orton versus... I know I said that I didn't really enjoy the Jelly Roll Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul match. It was probably my least favourite of the whole weekend. But I didn't completely hate it. We still had that phenomenal move. I mean, I know I said that I didn't really like the Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul match. we still had that amazing choke slam. We still had that fantastic body slam into the table. There was still moments in that match. There wasn't one match that I was like, yeah. You know, I thought the Sami Zayn match was a bit rushed, but I still thought it was good. I thought that the moving on to the other two matches that I haven't spoken about yet, I thought the cage match between Solo and Jacob was fantastic as well. I loved that match. Brilliant work from both of them. Nice to see a bit of, you know... By the way, when did we start calling them the NFTs? When did we start calling them that? I can't remember, but still, apparently that's now a thing. And of course, I said Jimmy Uso was going to come out for that, and he did. I was surprised there was no one else. I was surprised we didn't see Jay or Roman. I mean, it makes sense because they were on the night before, but I was surprised it was just Jimmy that came out for Jacob. I thought, okay, you know, if that's the road we're going to go down, fair enough. But again, it's a brilliant match. Again, quite short, but it was still... Actually, no, that weren't short. That was a decent chunk at the time. I'm thinking of the AJ Styles Dominic Mysterio match, which I also thought was brilliant. By the way, nice little touch with the car, AJ, and little Dominic in the car. Lovely little touch there. That did really make me laugh. And that's one thing I haven't spoken about is the entrances, and some of the walkouts this weekend was so good. Props to... it has to go to the Cody and Cena match for the entrances, because Cody comes out to his dad, the late great Dusty Rhodes, talking, and I thought, because I had to look this up by the way today, apparently that was real word that he said, and they've just put it together in a sense, or something from a particular promo. Don't quote me on that, but because of what he was saying, I genuinely thought that was something they did with AI, because it sounded so perfect for the match. That, you know, the whole, I may be above you, but I can still see you, and I can't do a Dusty Rhodes impression, and I can try as much as I try, but it may not be as good as I want it to be. There you go, that's my impression of Dusty Rhodes. He's just a common man. No, don't get started with all that. And of course, don't go there, Charlie, you're going to lose it at this point. Still got stuff to go through. And of course, for the first time since his heel turn, we had a proper John Cena entrance. We had a proper John Cena entrance. We had the colours go off, and we had the lights, and we had finally, you know, and he's full, you know, he's babyface again, and I was shocked that he didn't turn heel, Cody. Absolutely shocked by that. But it makes sense for now. But, you know, still don't know if I can trust it. Still don't know. I mean, the first rumblings I hear this morning was, Brock was sent by The Rock. I was like, you know what? At this stage, even I could believe that now, because I don't know. As a fan, as a person, as a podcast, as a commentator, as a person that's passionate about this and has, you know, taught himself quite a bit about this industry over the last 5 years, I've kind of become more of a dedicated fan, become a passionate fan, and tried to become a bit of an expert on these things. I've got to admit it, at this point now, that we are no more clued up than anyone else now. Anyone could throw a ball at the wall and could possibly hit, you know, a bullseye now. Because your guesses are as good as ours going forward. The only people that genuinely know what's going on, I think, are the people that are in that room when the decision happens. Because I think that's just the way they're trying to go. I said it earlier, you know, it's the reality era. They want to take it back to being old school again and keeping it, you know, keeping kayfabe alive. Well, you know what? You're doing it. And if that's the way they've got to do it to make us as shocked and pull it off the way they have by barely telling anyone and just keeping it to like 5-6 people in the know, like they did with Punk coming back, like they did with Cena turning heel, like they did with Seth Rollins' injury, like they did with Brock coming back now. You know, if that's the way they've got to do it, then let them do it, because I know that people are finding what happened last night very controversial, and I completely understand why. And I'm not going to get into it because personally, I'm not... I've got to be really careful about what I say here. I'm not someone that will talk about that side of things, because I want to talk about the stuff that we're passionate about as fans and keep it within that. I don't want to really ever go off and talk about the things outside of that. I've talked about the McMahon documentary and the stuff that's happened and that came out from that. If you want to know what I thought of the documentary and what I thought was going to happen going forward from that, then go and watch that episode or listen to that episode. From taking over the podcast just by myself now and it being in my own hands, I'm not going to go into that stuff, purely because it's not something I feel that is... I'm not going to say it's not relevant, but it's something that I think could damage the entertainment and the fun side of what we as fans want from this. And that's all I'm going to say on it. That's not me defending it. That's not me refusing it. It's just, I don't want any part of that conversation. I want to enjoy the wrestling for it to be wrestling, and that stuff to be kept away from it. And that's it, okay? So I understand why it's as shocking and divisive as it is within the storyline. And of course, I'm not an idiot. With outside it, with what the consequences and the real world situation with that so-called person is. I'm not talking about it here. Okay? And that's the last thing I'll say on it. However, in terms of we're going back into that world and we're talking about it as fans, we haven't got a clue what's going to happen. You know, it's been proven. The last one I need to talk about very, very quickly was the AJ versus Dominic Mysterio fight. Man, if only I could slip a boot off my foot as well as Dominic did last night. That was brilliant. Even AJ said afterwards that it was a good move. I've got to give it to him. He I didn't see that one coming. He was good at doing it. So, you know, it was brilliant. And I'm really happy I changed my mind on that, because I think in the long run, it would have damaged Dom quite a bit if he would have just had the single storyline and it had just gone after that. I know we've waited quite a while to get that first proper real match for the Intercontinental Championship since he won it at Mania. But, you know, I'm going to say it paid off. For the little amount of time that they were given, and it was a short fight. It was about 15 minutes. It was definitely shorter than the cage fight, 100%. For the little time they were given, they did... Again, this is the thing. There was no real bad matches. There was no really bad matches all night. There was the whole weekend, really. It was just... Every match should have really had a decent 25-minute slot. But when you're doing it over 2 nights, you need to keep people entertained. And even for 2 nights, I don't think that, you know, it was long enough. 6-7 hours of wrestling we've had in the last 2 days. And I still have tiny little things that I would change, which is I would have given Jelly Roll a little bit more time to train and the whole fight not resolve around that. I would have given Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn a bit more time to A, develop the story, or B, have time in the ring to make it work. That's the reason why I think we're going back to that story. And the same thing with AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio, as I just said, that they had enough time to develop the story. They wasn't given the same equal justice amount of time for them to tell that within the ring. But, he said, I weren't prepared for them sneaky moves this time, but I will be next. So we've got to be seeing another one of them, surely. Because it was really good. It was brilliant. It's just too short. Right, I've been going on for probably at this stage nearly 2 hours for you guys. And, I'm probably annoying you at this stage. So at that point, I've got to say, if you've stuck to the end of this one, thank you so much for listening. If you've jumped from part to part, I don't really blame you, because it's been a pretty long one. It's taken me nearly 3 blinking days to record it, I've got to admit. But this has been one of the most fun I've had doing the podcast for a PLE. Or oh God, where am I? Throwback. Or a no, it is PLE. Yeah, Premium Live Event. I nearly said pay-per-view. We don't call them pay-per-views anymore. I'm too tired at this stage, guys, okay? So I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for coming along this ride with me over this weekend. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. And the best part is, for me, it's afternoon time on Monday that I'm recording this. And, we've got the aftermath. Monday Night Raw. Sadly, this will be the only podcast you get this week. So there won't be a full reaction to this week's Raw. So, whatever happens, my reaction will be, I don't know, if you're listening to this, just pulled a bunch of faces to the screen. So, let that be what it is. But Fridays and the following Mondays will get a reaction and will be in next week's video. I have plans this weekend. I can't get out of them. So I won't have time to record. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for following and, enjoying the podcast. Please share with your friends and family and other wrestling fans out there. And I'll finish it with this. I'll end you with this. We came into this weekend thinking we knew the straight line that we were going to get following to the end of this year, with everything going on with John and Cody and all the other storylines. WWE thrown us some curveballs this weekend, and that road is no longer straight and is going to go down as many twisted routes as it can. And I'm in for the ride. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Before the Free Count, the SummerSlam edition 2025. I have been your host, Charlie Crook. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time.